Greetings YouTube, welcome to Dorsey's Resource. The title of this video is going to be Redemption Series, original content, where to find books and material. As usual, before we get started, I'd like to give a disclaimer. This video is going to be for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Please understand everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different. It's up to every individual competent person to please do his or her own homework and research regarding the matter being discussed. This information is not to be construed as legal advice. In the event you feel you need to seek a competent professional, it is encouraged that you do so at one's own leisure. Dorsey's Resource channel is not liable or responsible for any misuse of this information. These are simply my opinions on the topic. Keep in mind, everyone is responsible for their own affairs. Please govern yourselves accordingly. With that said, all rights are reserved. Now, let's get into the topic. I wanted to go over, as I've shown this book many times before, redemption material. This is going to be like history. I want to let you all know, I have a friend, if you're on the fence about learning this type of information or trying to find resources, if you're wondering, is this real? What's the validity behind the so-called SC movement, etc. Some of you guys know what that term is. No need to beat down the dead horse. You can find this book is on Amazon.com, but it's also, they have a website called www.sovereignconnection.com, and there's another website, www.sovereignfilings.com. I'll hold it up to the camera so you guys can see. I'll go over it again, www.sovereignconnection.com and www.sovereignfilings.com. And I want to say on the record, I'm just sharing this as a courtesy. I'm not getting paid for them. They didn't ask me to promote. In the past, one of the individuals, I guess, who was one of the creators of this book, sent me the updated version. This is the original manual, which is no longer in print. As he told me at the time, he would be coming up with an updated edition, which is already out. But it was selling out really fast last time I checked on Amazon. But those are the other options, I guess, that'll take you to their site. They also have another website or URL address called makefreedom.com, I believe. I'm just quoting off the top of the head from what I remember. By the way, they even asked me at the time, I spoke with maybe one of the creators of the book, asked me to like join their team. And I think I may have mentioned at the time I was too busy. They were looking for certain skill sets, and I wanted to kind of go over, because I know there's a lot of information you guys, people out there may have discovered nowadays. It's a plethora of other channels popping up that teach or share this type of information. There's names I remember very well, I could say offhand, that I'm even subscribed to, or some I bookmarked, by the way. But I check out other content out there that I think is good, and I still study privately to further my education. I also have private sources, by the way, who are more advanced than myself, who I have like I get my tutelage from, so I don't hide that, in case you're wondering, because some people say, well, who's the man or person behind the scenes? Dorsey can't know all of that information. What I will say, throughout the years, my experience that I have has enabled me to understand different processes that are out there. And I felt as a courtesy, I could help provide some insight into what's going on. And there is a legitimate aspect. I talk about the real things, not the videos that there's gatekeepers and trolls and government agents and shills that try to put people down that study this type of information and try to say, see, that doesn't work because they got shut down in a police video or court video. But I will tell you, I do know the do not detain list is real. This information goes real high up to the ruling class elite. And I wanted to kind of maybe discuss or give some tidbits. And it's been a minute since I brought you guys content, by the way. I want to say this is February 1st. I wanted to let you all know I didn't forget about you. I appreciate all my subscribers, those newly subscribed, that have continued to rock with me, that follow my content. I do see you guys' comments and compliments. I appreciate them very, very much. By the way, I just want to let you guys know, even if I don't get a chance to respond to them, sometimes I do see the feedback from you guys, and it has been positive overall. I know there's a stampede of people who want to know this type of information, but I will here to tell you the honest truth there is very powerful people in the private sector, the elite private sector. I'm not talking about the private sector that's public, because I had a friend of mine years ago, very very knowledgeable, very intelligent, and I was in Barnes and Noble with another friend, and he called me up, this other friend, and said he heard President Obama mention something at the time about the private sector, and I had to explain to him, no, there's an entirely different, a whole nother level, an elite level of people in the shadows. My other friend refers to them as the shadow people. So a lot of you guys, people I meet, still don't understand these concepts. There's people that think that this is easy fix, 1 2 3, that this is a silver bullet, that you can just learn the information or just file, submit paperwork, and boom, it's just easy, just like that. And I'm here to tell you, not necessarily. Now, once you learn these things, I don't want to spook you all, but I do understand there's concern, there's people on the fence, and there's other content creators that I follow. Some of you all know that see me in the other chat sections of other content creators who are more advanced than myself, who I give mad kudos to, whose names I've mentioned in the past, by the way. Sometimes I might randomly mention, and there's several, by the way, and there's one in particular. As I say, some of you guys that follow me have said what's up when I've been on other channels, but I just want to let you guys know, if you're really serious and you're on the fence about this type of information, but you want to know the validity, if this is real, I'm just here to share it with you guys. There are actual resources. There are books. I've shown this book quite a bit. I actually think this book in their particular series is more advanced. By the way, I can't tell you the exact date this particular book came out, but there is an updated version. The updated version actually has more pages. It should have the same information. The only difference, it has some added information, maybe I want to say glossary or some additional context. I actually have that version, by the way, and I use these books as reference. Because I already had been studying for a number of years, I'm in a different category, and each person's experience is different. That's why when I give my disclaimer, I say that the way that I do. Everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different, to each his own. So what may work for one person may not work for someone else. And it also depends on the jurisdiction that you're in sometimes, what state that you live in. This could even be pertaining to the laws dealing with the police. If you get pulled over, this even pertains to the judicial court legal system, judges, lawyers. When I read documents many years ago, there was this mystique, or urban legend, that all of the judges were evil or whatever. And I want to say there's some reports I actually read when I started studying this information many years ago. When I woke up to this, I did a lot of reading, and to provide some insight, just to share from my experience, there were judges that actually tried to assist people at the time, when I was able to connect the dots, when I learned about the in lingus. That's referred to the straw man in the court system. That's the proper legal term, by the way, because in the court system, they use what's called legalese. Now, you can look up the definition of legalese, so you'll see that I'm not making this up. Some of you guys out there already know this. This is like basic information, but to newbies out there who may be on the fence trying to understand this information, a lot of this stuff pertains to the law, pertains to the court system, the judicial system, by the way. But keep in mind, they use an entirely different language, and you have to learn that language as well and become proficient at it. If you want to get really good, that's would depend if you file a lot of paperwork, or if you are up to the challenge with certain types of processes and things. Now, I also learned about a process many years ago, where I mentioned this on a private call some years ago when I was invited to this Discord group, by the way, that some people that saw a video I had some years ago that Yusavale had shared about the black card from this private event that I had attended some years ago, that a friend of mine helped me understand and refer to as a private clandestine operation. By the way, yes, it was a private clandestine operation, where I feel, in my opinion, that from confirmation, there were people of the private sector, there were elites that were there. We were being basically taught the information, and I started to connect the pieces, because prior to attending this event, I asked a private source that I had, because I studied out of I'm one of the most elite groups out of the city of Detroit at the time, many years ago. I was one of the youngest people there, by the way. There was a lot of older people in this particular group. By the way, one of the gurus or someone very knowledgeable with this information did a seminar back in 2014 and actually mentioned that he said out of a lot of the other seminars that he would do in this particular city or state, he said there was a lot of older people. Nothing wrong with that. There's people that even up there in age that still wanted their freedom, wanted to know, because this is tied in with some other stuff. By the way, this has been a long movement, but sovereignty or redemption and some of the origin behind it was very hidden. By the way, in order to get this type of information, there weren't books like this as advanced as this book back in the early 2000s. By the way, there was a book called Cracking the Code Part 2, and there was like a Part 3. They may have come up with, I think, maybe a 4.5 after that, but then shortly thereafter, the same group of people that produced this book, they were working with another group out of Oregon, and they had it was called the Redemption Manual. So the Redemption Manual is actually like an updated version of Cracking the Code. But Cracking the Code, I'm not referring, there was an IRS book called Cracking the Code that some people get confused, but that's actually a separate book. There was a separate manual called Cracking the Code, which is out of print. By the way, if you're still able to find it, it was, last I've checked, sometimes it may randomly be going for over $500 or over $1,000 on Amazon or eBay. It was called Cracking the Code, Redemption Theory, maybe like one of the other titles to the book. And it had like a logo or somebody breaking the chains or a Matrix type logo or some of the images for this book. It's no longer in print. And it was written by a couple authors that I remember or that contributed to the research. One guy was from Michigan. By the way, at the time, his name was Dan Benham. I don't know if he's still around. He's done audios before, by the way, that are out there on TalkShoe. My Private Audio is the actual website. They have a lot of different people throughout the years that have given information, by the way, that have been involved in this movement. There are different processes, by the way, like I kind of went over earlier. I mentioned that before because some people have this preconceived notion that there's a silver bullet that once you, I'm not saying that there isn't, but the elites at the very top that have access to the very good information, that know how to access the secret account, by the way, and that's something else, if I have time, I may touch on, they actually have the silver bullet, by the way, which is not difficult because in their situation, you have to keep in mind, they were taught by their parents. Many of them, they were sent to private schools by invitation only. If someone has been initiated in a high-level secret society or fraternity, and they say there's an elite that they want to groom or send to a school, they'll send them to a private seminar, by the way. And they had seminars offshore. I've heard Pastor Lindsey Williams talked about this. He had a DVD years ago called Secrets of the Elite. You still might be able to find it on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's still on there, by Pastor Lindsey Williams. He was a whistleblower. If you guys don't know who he is, look him up. By the way, he's been a whistleblower for a long time. He's still alive. He's given out valuable information throughout the years. If you guys know the story, one of his elite friends passed away at the time, by the way. And he's been someone who's been a pioneer in spreading the truth about the ruling class, some refer to as the Illuminati. By the way, they do exist. And he's talked about this and used that term, which some will use the ruling class elite. Some people call them the globalists. But there is a group that wants to enslave every man, woman, and child in the entire world. They want to set up a one world order, a global system, by the way, a totalitarian state, a totalitarian police state. And I want to say on the record, I did give a disclaimer. I'm a very astute person. I have a college degree, associate's degree in business administration. I took classes towards my bachelor's. So I want to say this is not gobbledygook. This is legitimate, real information for you guys to look up. That's why I'm giving you names of people, references, books to look up, by the way, to provide validity. And he has DVDs, and there's been another plethora of whistleblowers, by the way. Let me see if I can think of some names offhand. Edward G. Griffin or G. Edward Griffin, I'm not sure, but you can look him up on Wikipedia. He came out with a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island that explains some of the history behind the See, the Federal Reserve banking system, by the way. G. Edward Griffin, by the way, look him up. He had like an audio version of The Creature from Jekyll Island as well. He's like a historian. He's been around for a while. There's some people who have passed away, by the way. There was one guy named Jim Tucker, who was like a journalist, whistleblower, one of the original journalists who used to cover the Bilderberg secret meetings, by the way, which those some of the same people that are part of the World Economic Forum, also known as aka the Davos Group or Davos Group, based out of Davos, Switzerland. And by the way, your birth certificate is traded on an international scale, worldwide. I had a broker some years ago, the first YouTuber subscriber that I allowed to reach out to me, by the way. He had told me he was also connected to the music industry by the name of Tremaine Williams. By the way, only time I mention real names is to provide validity. So if you go back to some of my old videos, you might see the comment. Not sure if they're still up, by the way. He was even familiar with the Iraqi dinar, by the way, and told me that he had received an offer when he used to be a facilitator on the New York Stock Exchange, very similar to a broker, and he dealt with high net worth transactions, and he dealt with clients, I would say, from around the world, by the way. So just to give you a little background, so he wired me up on how your birth certificate is not just traded on a domestic level. It is a form of a registered security, contrary to popular belief, as some may try to negate. You have gatekeepers that claim that they're debunking the information, but I'm actual source. You can look at me as maybe a whistleblower. I'm an insider, by the way. And I'm here to tell you, there is a plan. Once again, they do have these ruling class elite to enslave every man, woman, and child. And this is not a joke. On a global scale, I could go more in depth, but just giving you some basics I learned many years ago, that this information goes real high up, but it's important to learn about this type of information if you're operating on a public sector as a statutory 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. You want to learn about transitioning to the other side properly, going about the proper way. Now, there is another way that, because these elites, when I attended that private seminar some years ago, I learned a lot of extra details about things that I didn't know. But since I studied out of a very elite group at the time, I knew about Common Law Express Trust, by the way. I knew about this firm out west in the state on the West Coast that set up trusts for very elite people. Now, if you want to know more information about what I know, by the way, or just about anything, I've always, I don't really solicit, but there's a saying, give the people what they want. So since I had many requests in the past, you're welcome. If you want to set up a private consultation, it'll be in the description box, by the way. The description box under the video after this uploads, or my previous videos, if you're seriously interested, it is private. So I go about it a certain way. I'll send you the links. Once I receive the payment, then I will contact you, by the way. And I have had several consultations, by the way, but just to let you guys know, if you're serious, by the way, just be patient. You know, I will eventually, for the most part, get back with you. I have other emails, other inquiries. Just shoot me another email if you felt like I haven't gotten back with you in enough time. But let's just say, I'm just putting it out there. If you want to know what I know, if you want some of my webinars, documentaries, what I try to do is based on whatever the private consultation may be about. If you have a subject or title in mind, by the way, then I will send resources, or let's say templates, based on your unique situation, by the way, that I see fit. And mind you, I've already put in work in the past where I paid my dues. By the way, I put in, contributed with other people behind the scenes to get study material. As I say, this is always important to obtain study material to further your education, or form alliances with like-minded people and groups, because you need to brainstorm. I know it's not as easy for one person to learn this type of information. Now, there have been people out there who actually, I would say, are highly advanced. There are people that do have special skill sets that I would say are highly, highly advanced. And they went through some things, by the way, because In life, you know, you have to work hard for things. Some things, certain things in life don't necessarily come easy, but some people we know are born with gifts like photographic memory. Some people can paint, draw very well. So different people's talents, different people learn differently. A lot of people are visual learners. I'm also a visual learner. Some people can learn really well just through listening and practicing hands-on approach. So you have to figure out and determine what's best for you. But I'm here to share with you, there's books and resources that can help in your endeavor. If you don't want to, let's say, to pay a guru, and you say, hey, I'm still on the fence about this, Dorsey, I'm here to let you know there are resources out here. By the way, everything is not a conspiracy theorist or an urban legend. There is validity to this information, by the way. Out of everybody out here that teaches, by the way, I even discovered when I brought that other book with me I've shown previously called Business and Law. I've even given people information where you can look up, I encourage you, locate the PDF files of the book. It might be called Business and Law or Business Law. There's modern day versions versus the older book that I showed that is related to topics related to this field of redemption. And it explains in there's a chapter on UCC financing statements, which some people try to make as being a conspiracy theory or saying that you can't file these forms or they don't do XYZ. I'm here to tell you that's not true. They are banking forms, by the way. They're also forms for business, to conduct doing business and commerce, by the way. It's also referred to in the commercial world, while you guys see me hold the pen a lot, is there's contracts that we sign. People don't realize every day you get involved in possibly numerous contracts without even realizing it. You have to ask the question, when you get a driver's license, did you know that it states when you sign the driver's license that you have read the entire motor vehicle code and you can recite it back and forth? By the way, when you sign these different contracts, by the way, even if you're not told or this isn't explained to you, you're held liable, by the way, and you may not even understand. Even if you get an attorney, if you get into a car accident or something happens, and did you know you're giving up power of attorney? By the way, there's a way they can cash in on your estate. They can administer your in lingus. That's what the straw man is called, your trust. So many years ago when I was telling the story, by the way, when there was a situation where some judges tried to help people, they would say, are you referring to the decedent estate? By the way, when people said straw man, because they didn't recognize this terminology of people using secure party talk, or they would say UCC nonsense or gobbledygook, by the way, and they would say, are you referring to the decedent estate? Because your straw name or trade name by the legal fiction, aka legal person, in the court system, you can look up the definition of in lingus. That's legalese for artificial person, artificial being. Look up in lingus, spelled E as in Edward, N as in Nancy, S as in Sam. Lingus, L as in Larry, E as in Edward, G as in girl, I as in Icarus, S as in Sally. And lingus. Look the definition up for, and you'll get an idea. Also in the court system, the language is also kind of coded. Look up the term res. Res spelled R as in Roberto, E as in Edward, S as in Sam. Look up res. Res is like a ship. And if you look up Title IX of the United States Codes, it refers to vessels and ships where they get these concepts from. By the way, there was a sister I was helping out some years ago, rest in peace to her son. I've told the story many times before. Her son got caught up on a gun charge, by the way. She was down in Virginia, I believe, down south of where I'm at. And her son got in a situation where he ended up taking a plea deal, by the way. Because many times, they convince you or whatever when a situation happens where, you know, you don't want it to go to the jury trial or whatever. So they convince you, the person, to take the plea for less time or whatever, even if you might not be guilty, because all crimes are commercial. I forget, actually Yusuf El went over this the other day, had a very excellent commentary on the article, on a lot of the courts being Article 1 courts, and the particular clause that deals with this, with all crimes being commercial, even murder, dealing with money, banking law. And this is tied in with the court system, and it's for profit. And on the court system, the judicial system, they can tap into your private account. By the way, there's a connection to the Federal Reserve Bank through the court system. It's referred to as the CRIS accounts. It wasn't a lot of information on it, but there was a video I was able to download some years ago on YouTube, which is very rare, that broke down with the CRIS accounts. That's an acronym for a Court Registry Investment System, from what I recollect, from what I remember. Don't quote me on it, but Court Registry Investment System, that's what enables them to tap into the Federal Reserve, by the way, when you give them your access to your QSIP. So when you hire an attorney, and there's a play on the words, attorn means go into study the prefixes and suffixes. Attorn is to twist, means to turn on you. Attorney, attorn means to twist. When you get into looking up some of the definitions of these terms and study the prefixes and suffixes, by the way. I'm going to get to the chat. By the way, I see you guys have jumped in. I appreciate the few of you all in here that follow me, have acknowledged me. CJ in the building says, Dorsey, how's it going? Thank you. Appreciate you for joining. Mary Saunders says, hello, greetings. Appreciate you for joining, Mary. Moderator in the building. Greater Paris says, can you talk about the GameStop short squeeze? You know what? I forgot about that. That is good. I meant to tie that in with another topic. I wanted to let you guys know I'm still here. The reason I'm doing a video in my personal, not the work vehicle, because the last time I did the video, by the way, there was some noise, a lot of noise coming from the work vehicle in the background. It's got some mechanical issues. I don't know exactly what's going on. Something dealing with the engine, and it was real loud. So you guys, it sounded like to you all listening, because I go back and listen to my videos, that there was traffic or a motorcycle going by, but that was actually the engine revving up. So you don't have that background noise. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick video, let you guys know I'm still here. I plan on down the road, hopefully having some awesome content for you guys down the road. I'm just covering the redemption content a lot, going into the where you can purchase books from, resources, the history, and let you guys know this book is highly advanced, by the way, I would say. So that's a good question, Greater Perry. I might address that GameStop situation very briefly. And I'm not an expert on that situation when it comes to stocks. That's not one of my strong areas with trading, by the way. But I will hopefully touch on that in a little bit. Steve Stein says, greetings, Dorsey. Appreciate you for joining. Thank you, Steve. Mary Saunders says, good evening, Dorsey. Appreciate you. XBI Genjutsu says, I discharged car debt creating a foreign trust. To the people in the chat, check him out. Okay. Appreciate you. If you don't mind elaborating, by the way, you said you created a foreign trust. That's interesting, because from what I understand, there's different types of trust. By the way, there's, like, if you have a 98 number, that's a form of a trust, 98 foreign trust estate. And there's ways to use the IRS form 8832 to designate the entity, by the way. And there's some other things I won't go into dealing with that form. So I'm a little bit familiar with, by the way. But if you don't mind explaining some more, XBI, how you discharge that debt using a trust. Don't appreciate it if you leave, you're welcome to leave some additional information in the chat. Anali QB says, okay, check mark. Anali says, QB says, prayers. Appreciate you. Thank you for joining. Mary Saunders says, I'm so glad that you are here. Appreciate you. Thank you for the compliment. Mary, you've been consistent, by the way. And, down the road, I want to have, because my channel is not as really as big, by the way. I wanted to also do like a giveaway. You know how a lot of channels, when they reach a certain amount of subscribers, they do a giveaway. But because I operate differently and that stuff is sort of like public, I would have to do the research. I haven't forgot for everybody that has donated, by the way, or has any type of way or paid for private consultation, make sure you leave an email. This is just pertaining to if this situation. If you've ever sent the donation, by the way, through either Cash App or my PayPal link, or if you have paid for private consultation, this will be like my giveaway. I want to do a private webinar specifically for you guys. I can send to you all through Gmail. And for you, Mary, by the way, because you've been the most consistent, and I appreciate you being a moderator, this is how I'll do surprises, because I appreciate people who are loyal. In the past, I was looking for people who are very loyal, because there's always people, when I share this type of information as a courtesy, by the way, and help people out. I was explaining to a friend of mine, they don't reach back sometimes or keep up their end of the agreement, by the way. And I've given very, very powerful information to people on how to discharge debt from templates that I haven't even gotten around to utilizing yet, because I have a busy schedule and it's kind of tedious. But I went over critical information of how to order the forms, how to get tax ID numbers, stuff like that. And they just, disappeared. By the way, they don't reach back and help out. And see, I said, God willing, if I'm ever able to get out of this 9-to-5 job, I wouldn't mind doing this information on the house as a courtesy, because I love talking about this type of information and going over with this particular subject, other than when I talk about the foreign currency, the dinars and stuff, dealing with that, by the way. But if you guys want to also see this channel go to the next level, the support that you guys give me through, if it's financial support, other ways, encouragement, it does help out a lot. Go to the next level, because you do have gatekeepers out here that I warned you all about, minions, underlinks, that do not want you guys to have access to learn about this information. And I'm even being told from real high up privately, from a couple sources that I've had privately, I've been told they don't want you guys learning, people in the general public learning this type of information, because this is the very system I was explaining to a friend of mine who's been on the fence about this information. This is the same system that the elites use. And I said, why would they destroy something, their very system, part of what they're using? That's why what leads me into this good comment to Greater Parrot, leading into that GameStop situation. Very similarly, a lot of people were saying how dare you make all this money through Robinhood. They don't want you. I heard there was a guy that the mainstream media didn't tell this story about, because allegedly Robinhood went to the government. By the way, that's what it appears like, because there was a guy that called in on Yusuf's show I was listening to like yesterday or the day before, by the way, and he stated that people need to be buying silver, because they had hit the same guys from Reddit that had planned this to try to mess up this hedge fund that had a lot of money invested in bankrupting these companies or whatever. So I'm just kind of giving you guys the basics. I don't understand all the things when it comes to short sales, and that I know there's some of you guys out there that have a background, financial background in trading. I wish I had learned about those things many years ago, by the way. Okay, checking the voltage levels on my car. But I'm not that knowledgeable when it comes to that. But there was this guy was kind of like a whistleblower, and he said that they plan on hitting silver. And I know the silver, the price it creeped up is around 30, and it will be over that if you add the premiums to, like, say if you buy a Silver Eagle, how they make you pay $5 or $6 extra above whatever the market price is. That's called the premium, by the way. And other coins as well, such as the British, was it the Britannia? Do I have that right? Am I saying that correctly? British, is that the, what's the name of that coin? Because the Canadian Maple Leaf, and you have, what's that British coin? I can't think of, I don't know if I said it correctly. As you guys see, I've got to brush up. I have kind of like, you have those brain farts, by the way, but you know what I mean, those coins. If you're a silver collector and you purchase coins, certain coins carry a premium. All of them do, even the silver rounds. But the silver rounds maybe a few bucks or a couple bucks extra. And that's so the coin shops or dealers can make their profit, because they make a certain percentage off of what they sell, so they can also buy and purchase a certain amount back. So as the price starts to go up, you know, the premiums generally are going to increase, by the way. So they were saying, this whistleblower called in and mentioned, and I've gone over that in the past before, by the way, but I find it interesting. I heard that there's some things that took place this past weekend, something going on with APMEX and some other dealers where they were sold out because there was like a run on them. But I heard there was maybe some high rollers that came in, or people with deep pockets, and bought up a lot of silver. If you guys want to do the same thing that the Reddit guys have done, they say everybody out there should buy at least 1 ounce of silver. This source that I have some years ago told me this. I didn't really understand it, but he said everybody goes out there and buys 1 ounce of silver. He said it would help collapse JP Morgan Chase, which I guess is behind the scenes, had been purchasing not only cryptocurrency, but silver and gold, by the way, so they can hoard all of it, by the way. And then they were shorted with the COMEX exchange, that stands for Chicago Mercantile Exchange, because they manipulate the price. It's being suppressed. So something to do with how they do this thing with why the guys, they targeted GameStop, and there's other companies. So Robinhood, which has cut out brokers some years ago. I heard that brokers many years ago used to make a commission, but Robinhood cut them out, by the way, even though they're a brokerage firm, or they kind of act as a middleman, but they made it easier for people to purchase stocks and things of that sort. I've known about Robinhood for a few years, but I didn't realize someone warned me, if you don't know what you're doing, to stay away from the stock market. But I also I've heard about people making a lot of money even off of GameStop, and I heard there were some shady things that was done where one guy had over 3,000 shares, and GameStop made him sell at over 100 when the stock had already rose to over $300. I heard it got even over 500 something. I'm not sure what the total high of that stock got up to. I heard it dropped back down some, by the way. So it makes one wonder, by the way. I definitely want to cover this topic. So there was those questioning, why would Robinhood all of a sudden they stopped people from being able to make more purchases, and you could only sell at the time. And then they made one guy who was a big investor, I guess he was holding a lot of shares of GameStop stock, they made him sell at before it even hit 200, even though he made a nice sizable profit. So they said this is manipulation. This is not only remember Martha Stewart some years ago, she got in trouble for what's called insider trading. So not only is this like a form of insider trading, this is rigging the market. Even from what I heard, Ocasio-Cortez and even Ted Cruz said he agreed with her tweet that an investigation needed to be done. But then there were some people that came out against it, like Elizabeth Warren. I heard she changed her tune up because she's connected to the globalists, by the way. And I heard from a good friend of mine that studies politics that she's an opportunist, by the way. So she'll say things and do things to be in the pocket of the globalists. So she's someone, if she ever runs for any future higher positions as a politician, she's someone you want to keep a close eye on, that may not really be for the people, because someone that's an opportunist is not going to really have the people, we the people's back. They're going to be establishment and basically do as the ruling class has them do, because they have their underlings. So she would be like an underlink, one of their minions and gatekeepers, by the way. So I heard that she was calling for the arrest of guys on Reddit who had planned this, which I think was a genius idea that those guys did. And I heard that they're targeting silver next. So some people, it's a smart idea, had been purchasing silver stock. But I think it's also important to hold it. So some people, it's been recommended that you do both, by the way. It's not only, but if you know what you're doing when it comes to the stock, that's awesome. But if you hold the physical, when that bubble pops one day, which is inevitable, they say it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when, by the way, then, you'll be putting yourself in a good position. And then if everybody out there goes out and purchases at least 1 ounce of silver, it doesn't matter if it's a Silver Eagle, if it's a British, Britannia, or Canadian Maple Leaf, or 1 ounce silver round, Buffalo round, just silver in general. Junk silver is being bought up. Some refer to as constitutional silver from years ago. They were saying even silver bars, if you have deep pockets or you're a high roller and you buy silver bars, it's inevitable. Be like Scrooge McDuck, the cartoon. He had like a whole safe, a big giant tower of a safe where he was swimming in gold bars. Imagine there's people out there that have that in silver, because it's even how can I put it, by the way, it was even mentioned to me by a private source that there's a day that silver might even surpass the price of gold. And they say silver has a more powerful history behind it versus even the price of gold, by the way. That silver has an amazing history historically, how it was used as a monetary source of exchange, a medium to exchange, by the way. Silver has a very powerful history, and silver is used in a lot of electronic devices. It's used in for solar panels, medical devices, electronic devices, cell phones. By the way, they say computers, laptops, and things of that sort. And platinum is like it's sister metal, similar to how like cars use platinum catalytic converters contain like rhodium, platinum, and that type of information. I think platinum is like a sister metal of silver, similar to palladium. Palladium's in that family as well. But silver in general has a high value down the road. If you look at the nationaldebtclock.org, if you go to usdebtclock.org, it tells you what the real price is supposed to be at. So that other price you see is being manipulated. That's set by the London bullion market, the LBMA, because London, England, known as Great Britain, is the financial arm of the world. The United States is the military arm, and the Vatican is the religious arm. And each three form a trust, by the way. It's very interesting. They each three form a trust. So, yeah. But good question, Greater Parrot. Maybe at another time I could go more in depth and give more of my feelings about that GameStop situation. But I noticed that was pretty bold what Robinhood did, by the way. So, and getting ready to wrap things up, I just wanted to do a short video, let you guys know I'm still here. By the way, appreciate the feedback. Anali QB says, okay, thank you for the emojis. Mary Saunders says, thank you so much. Anali QB, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name, says, thank you. Appreciate you, says, let's talk. Okay, we'll support. Okay, check the description box. Appreciate you all for joining. I am your host, doing business as the In Lingus Legal Fiction, John Dorsey. You guys want to subscribe to me? Don't forget to hit the notification bell, by the way, for YouTube. If you want to find me on social media, you can follow me on Facebook at Dorsey's Resource. By the way, my main channel on there, my personal page, I'm not really active. All I do is post my videos, but I have another page, two other pages for this channel. I just generally post my videos or whatever, and I boost them. You guys are welcome to share this content if you like the content that I put out. By the way, you can also find me on Twitter. My Twitter is my more conservative handle, where I randomly post things from time to time, maybe my political thoughts. My Instagram account, Dorsey's Resource _2019. That's my more liberal, laid-back size, whatever. So if you guys want to follow me on social media, that's where you can find me at. I'm also on Minds.com. I did a video, by the way, because of the big tech censorship. You know, we got to work on getting off these platforms. But since my channel isn't super big as some other people out there, I am working on it. I do have a Rumble account. I don't have any videos uploaded yet on there. I do also have a Brighteon account. If you guys also get a chance, don't hesitate. Check out band.video, by the way. I think AJ puts out good content over there. But with that being said, the marathon will continue. Real legends never die. To all you all out there, stay woke, stay positive, be blessed. Until next time, appreciate you joining me. Take care. Deuces.